Hello everybody of the Section 1 Animation Capstone Project course for Rasmussen College. My name is William Stowe Skinner, and this is my alternative to presenting in the Module 11 live classroom. So first we're going to start off with a walkthrough of my demo reel. Let me, actually the volume's not too loud so I can talk over it. So this is my title card, and I had started with something very simple. At first, it was just, I believe, the letters falling in with some neon coloring. Uh, and I explained what I was going for, a sort of cyberpunk theme, and someone chimed in that you should probably add a little more animation to it, make it more fluid, and I definitely agreed. I just wasn't sure what direction to go in. So I just started with what I was familiar with in my um, icon creation. I used hexagons that had this stainless steel look to them. And I came up with the idea of just these pieces rolling in, popping up, and then falling into place with a quick scan light and then a flicker like it's turning on. And that worked out really well. This is the first project piece being displayed. It is a compilation of multiple effects. I started out with 3ds Max, and then I added that little explosion you saw at the beginning there in After Effects. Just a second, right there. Nice little poof to make it look like it's falling through the atmosphere or there was an explosion. You can see I added rendered ocean effects and then smoke trail, lighting, and different reflection pieces. This is a display of probably my favorite piece. It's a 3D character sculpture that I did starting in 3ds Max and then moved on to Mudbox for detailing. That's just, you can see it's a 360 spin of it. You get to look at all the details and see the various cracks and crevices. And it's probably the piece I'm most happy with. Now, this is a movement project. I don't quite remember what it was for, but just to get an idea of motion, just being able to master kinematics. Basically, the arm picks up the ball, throws the ball. It's that simple. Then this one was a smoke effects project to first get a handle on particle effects, which were surprisingly simple to do and quite fun to execute. Then this was a character motion project. I had to sculpt a head and then create different expressions for each one. See, I have like a, this was actually a reference to a video game and the various difficulties of it. So there was a standard and then easy mode and then hard mode. When you selected that, those were the different expressions that would come up. A little tongue-in-cheek thing there. Quick shadow study. It was I created a simple cityscape with my name, and then just had a sun overpassing, creating that shadow stretch effect. And it's actually pretty nice because it does highlight details of the 3D models, so that's always fun. This was an early project I did for texturing. Basically, I just had to create a texture for a box, and I thought, why not go literal with that? And I added what I now realize was a very early version of my brand icon that I wanted to have. So I added a cardboard texture to that, and then added some wet spots, some tape, and then stickered. These are all the same, or were the same picture. Then I just did 4 different sides and scattered them throughout to create these different looks. And I was actually really happy with that. You can see that these are completely flat surfaces. They just have textured planes onto them to make them look like they have detail on them. So I had a lot of fun with that one. Now a quick living room render for the scene. You can see I got the clock wrong and I'm missing a wall there, but it was a good exercise in just detailing furniture in living rooms and how this can actually be very easily done for someone who wants interior design or just redesigning a room in general. It gives them a great idea of where to place things and what to have. This was a bouncing test, squash and stretch, I believe. Yeah. So you can see that the bowling ball retains its shape, it just falls down, doesn't change shape at all. Whereas the small red bouncy ball is, you can see, just squashing and stretching while losing its momentum, continuing to bounce. The balloon squashes a little bit, and then just starts to sort of float away. And that was a bit of a study project more than anything. An early ocean render, you saw a much better one earlier, but this is where I got started with that. It looks a little too much like Jello, but I was surprised at how easy it was to create this sort of effect. Easy to learn, hard to master sort of thing. Depth of field, I wasn't too happy with this one. It's kind of hard to see what this is supposed to be the first pass through, but when you watch it you can tell that it focuses. The focus starts on the pencil and then it zooms into the die and then it immediately zooms into the paper over there. This was an outdoor scene project I did. I think it was a final project for a class I had started earlier. It's showing various perspectives where I just took different things I learned, such as making plants and trees in a 3D program while using a minimal amount of polygons. So these are actually 2D planes that are spread out in a clockwise direction, and they actually look fairly good. How I got the detail on those ferns was actually just, those who use Photoshop will know this, a process called masking, where that should actually be about a rectangle that's sort of been angled, but the rest behind that plant is, I forget if it was black or white, but essentially it does not show when rendered. So you're just going to see the plant piece, and it makes it look really nice. I did the same thing here and on that plant. Just some lawn ornaments, and the fountain you can actually see there. It was my first attempt at using splines, which I think was where I just drew a line and then that line was spun around in a circle, creating a fountain. And that technique is actually fantastic for creating table legs or fountains or just things you need that are symmetrical, but you don't have the time to model each piece detail by detail. This right here was a sort of a walking animation test. We had to have a character pick up something heavy, stand back up, and then just start walking in a natural motion. You can see it looks kind of, jittery. He's not walking perfectly, but to give me a better understanding of how to create natural motion. This is a pass-by of that earlier sculpture you saw, just a little face detail there. And then my closing card, which, I recreated that animation but reversed the direction, adding some light. It just allows for a lot of, it's different but same. Nice little touch there. Throughout the course, the various pieces I changed were that I would re-render old photos I had used or videos and just make them look better. I didn't get to do that with everything, obviously, but this one here, that's obviously very nice, very clean, a lot of resolution to it. You can tell what's happening very well. This video right here, you can see it's pretty low resolution, and there's no real excuse for that, but the simple fact that I did not have the time to re-render that kind of thing, that took days just to finish out. So I figured I'll keep it for now. I won't stress too much about it. Whereas this one right here did not have the original piece, but I was fortunate enough to still have the high resolution video spin around. What else did I change? I had to re-render this one. You can see it's very sharp and clear now with the lighting's pretty bright, but other than that you can still see a lot of detail. It used to be very low resolution, very difficult to see anything that's happening. And I just took other people's advice on how to make it better, and that's how you really improve in this course of work. You just show it to people, what you have, and then you get constructive criticism. That's the only way you improve, really. I'm still working on the shot list. You can see I have the thumbnails and the timestamps along with their titles. I still have to write out the details of each, but this is what I have so far. I'd like to thank everybody who critiqued my video. It was a big help, and I'm actually pretty happy with what I ended up. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing everyone else's work.